The Knights Templar. Who and what were these men? History paints them as holy warriors, defenders of Christendom. But behind the crusader crosses and sacred oaths lies a darker tale. A tale of gold, power, betrayal, and an execution so brutal some say it cursed a king and a pope. This isn't just a story of knights. It's a tale of what happens when faith collides with fear and power becomes too dangerous to share. Welcome to various eras in time. Relax and sit back and enjoy this historical journey. Let's dive into this journey of the rise and fall of the Holy Knights. Tonight, we unravel the story of a brotherhood shrouded in secrecy, forged in blood, and destroyed in shadow. But how did a group of warrior monks rise from humble origins to become one of the most feared and wealthy orders in medieval Europe? And why? After nearly 2 centuries of loyalty to the church and the crown, they were suddenly branded heretics, tortured, and erased from history almost overnight. The answers aren't found in fairy tales or clean history books. They're buried beneath layers of conspiracy, financial greed, and whispered accusations of devil worship. Now let's start to peel back the seal on one of the most controversial takedowns in religious history. The story begins in Jerusalem, 1119. In the aftermath of the First Crusade, chaos reigned across the Holy Land. Roads were plagued by bandits, pilgrims were slaughtered en route to sacred sites, and Western kings feared their fragile victories would crumble. Enter Hugues de Paynes, a knight who proposed a bold solution, a monastic military order sworn to protect Christian travelers. With just 9 men and borrowed swords, the Knights Templar were born. But from the beginning, something about them was different. They weren't monks, they weren't nobles, they were both and neither. The Templars answered only to the Pope. Not kings, not bishops, not local laws. They could cross borders freely, collect donations, and build fortresses without asking permission. Within decades, they amassed unimaginable wealth, land, gold, relics, and power, stretching from England to Jerusalem. Their headquarters? The Temple Mount itself, built atop the ruins of Solomon's Temple. It wasn't long before rumors whispered that they found something buried there, something sacred or profane. Whatever it was, the Templars became more than soldiers. They became bankers, diplomats, and keepers of secrets. And to some, that made them dangerous. By the late 1200s, the Templars weren't just warriors. They were Europe's unofficial bank. Monarchs borrowed from them, nobles stored fortunes with them, and their fortified temples guarded secrets no king could touch. But power breeds envy. And in France, one man watched the Templars' influence grow with clenched fists. It was King Philip IV. Bankrupt from wars and bitterness over debts owed to the Templars, Philip saw their independence not as holy, but as heretical. And when whispers began of pagan rituals, of spitting on the cross, of worshipping a mysterious head, he didn't silence them. He weaponized them. On the morning of Friday, October 13th, 1307, the trap was sprung. Under secret orders from King Philip IV, French soldiers raided Templar commanderies across the kingdom. Hundreds of knights were arrested, including their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. The charges: heresy, blasphemy, devil worship. Most damning of all, they were accused of kissing each other's spines, denying Christ, and venerating a severed head named Baphomet. The Templars were stunned. Many confessed under torture. But history has since asked, were these confessions truth or survival? Dragged into dungeons, starved, and stretched on the rack, many Templars confessed to crimes they couldn't even understand. The Inquisition extracted every word it needed, sorcery and sodomy, then sealed those confessions behind blood and parchment. Public trials followed, but they were theocratic, not justice. And while the Pope hesitated, King Philip pressed harder, desperate to erase the debt he owed and the threat they posed. Across Europe, Templar property was seized, temples dismantled and their legacy smeared with the soot of forced confession. The Church, once their protector, quietly turned away. On March 18th, 1314, after 7 years of imprisonment, Jacques de Molay was led to a scaffold on the banks of the Seine. Bound to the stake alongside fellow Templar Geoffroy de Charnay, he refused to recant. As flames consumed him, de Molay is said to have cried out a final curse, summoning King Philip and Pope Clement to meet him before God within the year. And they did. Both men were dead within months. Some call it coincidence, others call it divine vengeance. But that night, something deeper ignited. The myth of the Templar curse, whispered across generations. Though the Templars were officially dissolved, their legend only grew. Some say they vanished into the Alps with sacred relics. Others believe they morphed into secret societies, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, guardians of ancient bloodlines. Their symbols reappeared centuries later in obscure manuscripts, cathedral carvings, even US currency. But no one truly knows what the Templars left behind, or who still protects it. What's certain is this: their story was never fully erased. Not by kings, not by popes, not by fire. Because when power is buried in mystery, it doesn't die, it hides. So the next time you see a red cross carved in stone, or maybe stumble across a name tied to ancient secrecy, ask yourself, did the Templars truly vanish? Or did they simply retreat into the shadows, where power often hides? Their story is not just one of war and worship. It's a warning of what happens when truth threatens the throne, and when faith is used as a weapon. If you found this chapter in time haunting, subscribe to various eras in time for more lost truths and forbidden legacies. Leave a comment below. Do you believe the Knights Templar still exist?